Welcome or welcome back to Nine's Corner. I'm sitting here in my corner waiting for you to come and spend some time with me, and I appreciate you for joining. So let's start off this reading by taking some advice from Mr. Rogers, who said that during any crisis, look for the helpers. So God bless and thank you to Poland and to Romania who have stepped up and helped the refugees coming from Ukraine. They have supplied food, shelter, and kindness. For the Russian people who, with so much harm that could happen to them, they're still standing up, they're still protesting to show their support for Ukraine, disdain for Putin, which is an amazing thing. So for us, I thought, let's pull a card and ask the universe to give us some advice as to how we can deal with what's been going on in the world. Let's look for some advice from the universe for us. Okay, we have the High Priestess. So with the High Priestess, the universe is saying, you know what, guys? Things are not going to turn out the way that you expected. There are things that you don't know. There's things that you can't control that are going to take place. But this is also saying that through all of this, there's an inner change that's occurring. It's occurring in you and I, and it's occurring in the world. This is the change that happens on a human level, but it's also about changing without necessarily knowing how it's happening, because there's always the unknown, the things that you don't know, free will, that can change a situation. On a personal level, this card is a way of recognizing that we are going through this time of change, and that this is a time to manifest what you want, what you desire. You say it, you believe it, you act it, and you will receive it. So this could be as personal as saying, I want something for myself, for my job, for my family, for my friends. And it can be as big and uniting as saying, I want peace for Ukraine. I want peace for the world. Because we're all feeling the anguish. We're all feeling the uncertainty. And there's a lot of uncertainty there because we don't know. We really don't know everything. So let's have a look first into Putin. Let's have a look and see what paranoid Putin's plan is going into the future. I mean, he says he's on course, which we know he is not. But, you know, this is a man who's like a trapped rat, and he's trying to bite his way out. So he's going to try to not lose face. He does not want, it's like he is going to persist until he gets something. But what is that something? What is the end plan for this man? At the center, it's all about money. It's all about restoring Russia. It's about leaving a legacy. This is Putin's legacy. This is what he wants to leave. So no matter what we go through, he is going to insist on having some mark to be made by him. That makes him dangerous. That makes him to not know what he's able to do. But at the base of this is about his legacy. going across it. Here's the Five of Cups. So he is feeling the loss. He is feeling the pushback from the world. And he is disappointed that his first plan, he really thought he'd go in, quickly get it over with, and more or less go through the same situation that he did back in 2014 or 15 when they took Crimea. So going against him is the loss of support that he thought he would have from China. It is the disappointment with which he was able to direct this war. He's not happy with the way things have turned out. He's not happy with the way things are looking for his legacy. Underneath it all, we have the Queen of Wands. So he's definitely seeing a reach out to the people of Ukraine. He's definitely seeing a domestic, I will help take care of your people, help with the support of it. Underneath it, it's an understanding or a misunderstanding by him of what Ukraine was willing to do, what Ukraine wanted to, and the support that Ukraine would get. Oh, in the past, we have the Three of Swords. This is Putin's heartbreak for what he sees Russia has gone through, for the injustices that have happened to him and to Russia. This is his heartache as to where Russia is at this point in time and moving into the future. He is looking at his legacy. On top of it, I'm telling you, he's thinking to himself, my God, where has this strength of people? Because it's not just the people of Ukraine, it's the people within Russia who have rised up. These are the families, the people, everybody, the world is rising up. He can't believe it. He's just shocked by this in his head. Okay, so in the near future, we have the Six of Swords. What does this mean? With the Six of Swords, it's like you're moving from rough waters into more calmer waters, but you're still bringing the sword. You're still bringing the problems. So is there going to, is there going to be some kind of coming together? You know, if you look at this card and you see the boat is moving along, it's bringing the swords, the problems, the issues. There's people that are moving away, going away, exiting Ukraine and Russia. There's like this is his future. He wants to separate Ukraine. He wants to separate Ukraine. But it's separating separating Ukraine. That's what he wants. He wants to separate Ukraine. Not necessarily take over all of Ukraine. He wants to separate Ukraine. He wants a certain portion of Ukraine to become Russian or Russian sympathizers, or, you know. But maybe that's his plan now, that he's seeing that he can't take over all of Ukraine, but let me just split Ukraine and take a portion of it so that it works with us. So he's still going to be taking all the problems. Nothing's going to be really resolved. Is that his plan? Is that Putin's plan? Okay, so with the Knight of Cups, it's reversed. So this is indicating that their first talks, trying to come to some kind of understanding, was just thwarted. They just did not want to come to the table. There was no understanding. There was no coming together at that time. Sorry. The Four of Pentacles, for the people that are around them, for the world that's looking in, it's like they want to hold on to what they've got. So I think this is referring to NATO saying, hey, listen, we're willing to put the restrictions, the sanctions, but we're not willing to put the planes in the air to give a safe space for Ukraine because they're not part of NATO. So I think this is showing the stalling, the delay, the holding on so tightly, and that's going against Ukraine, and is holding Russia in place to a certain extent. Question for you. Do you guys, just put your thoughts in the comments below, but do you guys feel or believe that NATO should get involved, or do you think that that would be starting World War III? Do you think that is there a line in the sand that you would say, okay, if they do this, then we should get involved? Just interested to see what you would say. Okay. So with the Queen of Cups here, Putin is hoping to be able to put a cap on the information that the Russian people gets. He's hoping to be able to control information. He wants to be able to control the narrative to those he thinks are important. He is still wanting and ready to go forward, but there is going to be a different... Oh, and when we did our card prior to, we got the High Priestess, which says things are going to work out in a way that you didn't expect. So there's a different plan here for Putin. He didn't want us to know. And maybe that's what he meant by saying, you know, oh, everything is going according to plan. So because maybe his plan is not to take over the whole of Ukraine, but to literally put a road to the Black Sea so he can have, you know, control, and to try to keep NATO from coming in, because he hates NATO. He hates Western world. Outcome. Ace of Cups. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be issues, problems, disappointments, but at the same time, with the spillage, with the tears, there is the hope for peace. There is the ability for peace. It may not come out in the way that we would necessarily like for it to, but peace is possible. And when I say peace, don't take me like to mean that, oh, everything's going to be sunshine and lollipops and all that. It means that within Putin's plan, there is some room for cooperation, but it's not necessarily cooperation that we would want, that Ukraine deserves, but it might not take away the problems, but stall the problems. Wow. Interesting. For my next reading, I'm going to respond to a supportive email that I got, who asked specifically about China and what is their game when it comes to the war in Ukraine, the attack on Ukraine. So when it comes to China, if history foretells the future, in the past, when Putin originally went after Crimea, they more or less said, we don't agree with the invasion, but we're not going to respect the sanctions, and behind the scenes, they were helping Putin. So let's look at China and see what it is that they're doing today. They're staying fairly neutral. It looks like they have, even to the point, disrespected or embarrassed Putin, who, like we said, is a trapped rat and has zero support. I can't imagine how paranoid he must be. So what is China up to? at the base, we have the Ace of Pentacles, the receiving of money, the receiving of information. When it comes to the Ace of Pentacles, this is showing that on the one hand, China is going to be receiving money. They're going to be receiving, and this is coming from the clouded hand. So there's always this mystery of what's happening. They don't want for us to know. They want to do this behind the scenes. So this could be referring to the fact that even Russia has talked about putting their oil and gas back to China and taking it out of Europe and Asia. So this could be deals behind the scenes that are made for the future. And this is also an ability for China to watch and see and gather information, to have an understanding of how each player, whether it be NATO or Russia or Ukraine, how each person plays and how this plays out. Because don't forget, they, as well as Russia, have a want to take over territory. I mean, do their own part. So this is almost like making money and also a learning curve for them. Going across it. You know, I just get the feeling that there's going to come some kind of compromise, some kind of moving away from being on the edge to moving to calmer waters, but not being able to resolve the problem. So I think what's going against them is that they're not going to get the whole picture, because something's going to happen with the Ukraine, Russia involvement. Underneath it all, the sun, exposing the information, anything that puts the focus on something other than us, especially with the year that China has had, that's what they're thinking. Put the light on Russia, and we're not going to support them because we do not want the sun focusing on us. So in the past, we have the Eight of Wands. So in the past, there was a lot of quick movement. They were the ones that were on the scene giving out. They were the news. They were the information. That's where everybody was focused. And now the focus has been taken off them. In their minds, Four of Swords, they want to retreat. They want to hold steady. They want to stay neutral. But don't forget, the sword is underneath them. They have their plan. They know what they're doing. In the future, we've got the Page of Cups. So again, and the Page of Cups is looking backwards. So they are going to get their information. They're going to get their money. And there's going to be a surprise for them. Maybe even something that they're not expecting that may grow them spiritually, because this is going to affect each and every one of us, including China and the people of China. You know, this could be saying, hey, you may see an uprise in Russia and Russia's people, and this could affect China. Page of Swords, the spying, the watching. This really is the case of, hey, we're going to act like we have nothing to do with this, but in reality, we're watching and we're going to cutthroat you and do things behind the scenes. They're really watching this. You know, for the outside world, they're blind to what China is doing to a certain extent because their hands are tied. They're trying to support Ukraine without actually getting involved. I'm sure there's, you know, you could weigh out all the reasons, but there's two situations that are weighing out very heavily. And China, at this point, has taken a step back from being center stage. So right now, China is thinking, people aren't really watching us, and let's not put any light on us, so let's just keep status quo. And it's working. To a certain extent, it's working. For China, it's all about defending themselves, keeping themselves, their focus on themselves, what's best for them, and defending themselves. But they're doing it with the wand. They're not doing it with the sword because, again, they're trying to keep the spotlight off them, trying to put out the narrative that they're staying neutral. At the end of the day, we have temperance. So I think China, for all the reasons given, will stay out of it. And I do feel, and I mean, I know we're going through such hard times, but the angel here with temperance lets you know that there's a spiritual learning and lesson here, and that there's a balance that has to be made. There's some give and take that has to happen here. And that with each lesson, as hard as it is, there is this learning. And that there is this universal guide, love, spirituality, whatever you want to call it, that is on our side, even through the harshest times. Have you ever heard of footprints in the sand? That's what this feels like, footprints in the sand. That even during the hardest times, I was with you. I'm going to have to include that poem here. So I think China, they're going to stay behind the scenes, make their money, watch and learn. Let's have a look at the next week or so. Let's just say for the week coming up to next Sunday. So just for the current week, because there's so much going on and there's so much free will swirling around in the universe that everything is just, that's why you get that feeling of feeling unsettled and feeling insecure, and everybody's feeling it, not just you or certain, everybody's feeling it. It's because of the uncertainty. If we didn't have free will, we'd have the certainty, but we don't. Which is a good thing at the end of the day. So let's have a look at the next week. We'll look at Putin, because I don't think I should refer to it as Russia, because like they always say on the news, this is Putin's war, not Russia's. And let's line it up with Ukraine and see how things are going to go. Okay. Oh, please give us truth. Give us encouragement. Peace, 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 peace. Okay, so, temperance. And this is for Russia. Even through all the bad that's going to be coming, even through the hard times, because it's like this. One day it's going to sound like the world's going to end. The next day things are evening out. There's going to be this constant battle happening. But the angels are here to watch over us, to give us help, to give us comfort. Ukraine, you have justice with you. You have the support behind you. You are in a position of being in the right, to be in the position of being on the side that is fair and is righteous. Russia knows this. So I feel, going with the reading that we did on Putin in the beginning, there's going to be some compromise. But will it bring justice? There is the want and need for Russia to return to some sort of greatness, for the nostalgia of yesterday. Putin is very concerned with his legacy and how he leaves it. Ukraine, the family, the people, the support. It's there. It's there. God bless you. God bless you. The support is there. Justice is on your side. People are on your side. Russia is looking at what has happened up to this point, the fruits of their labor, what they're going to do next. Ukraine has the emperor, so there is going to be somebody of significance giving additional support to Ukraine during this time, during this upcoming week. They're going to help be somebody that's going to help organize, that's going to bring some stability to Ukraine. Russia is feeling this feeling of having so many avenues and wanting to do something to retain some kind of win. Putin wants to win. Even if it looks like he's saving face, he wants to win. I'm telling you, there's some kind of compromise that's coming up. I know it's so harsh to see everything that's going on. I mean, it's heartbreaking. To watch what's going on is heartbreaking, but I really feel this hope, this positive feeling of compromise. Unfortunately, it's not going to be what people want. It's not going to be the perfect way of compromise and get everybody to get what they want, but it's going to be something that it can at least stop or bring some release to what the situation is currently. Going forward, the Ace of Pentacles, Russia's going to be getting some help. They're going to be putting out threats. They have more ammunition coming forward. I'm sorry. We have the Tower. It is a time of chaos, of taking things down. I mean, things that are in action cannot be taken out of action. There is a certain amount of things are going to come through the way that they have to. That with change often comes the uncomfortableness, the pain, the agony of that change. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there. Oh, my candle went out. Sorry about that, I didn't see it. Well, it's kind of slanted there. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Get the check. I go, oh, it doesn't have a wick. I don't know what's happening here. I go through so many candles, so many tea candles, it's ridiculous. Sorry guys, I did not see the candle go out. When I get into my readings, it's like I'm so into the reading, so focused on the reading, I don't see anything around me. Alright, so with that, I send you love, blessings, and peace, and manifest peace in your life, and put it out to the world. And as always, I have our Yay candle lit for each and every one of us. I thank you for your time, and we'll talk soon. Cheerio. Take care.